Oke, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Thanks for being with us in PT PRK webinar session with topic of advanced RF microwave University Lab courseware with a 5G element. Today we have Daniel Yap as Asia Pacific Education and Research Business Development Manager from Keysight that will share the material. And also we have Jin Kiet Chua as the Marketing Initiative. And myself, Ria Gusti Hermawan from PT PRK as host for today's webinar. The agenda for this morning webinar, we will have the presentation about the topic from Daniel Yap regarding the advanced RF or microwave University Lab courseware with a 5G element. And we will have also show you one or two video maybe from Daniel. And after that, after the material, we will have the Q&A and also discussion regarding the material. And then we will have the last agenda, closing and conclusion. Okay, to shorten the time, I will pass the presenter control to Daniel to share the material.
Thank you, Pak Ria. Pak Ria, I'm waiting for your control.
Okay.
Yeah. So good morning, everyone. Good morning, all of you from Indonesia. I hope today is a beautiful day, another happy day, despite so many challenges in everyday life. Now, before I start, I'm going to show you a short video about our latest solutions that Keysight currently developed, and we are about to launch it very soon. So again, I just want to reintroduce myself again, like what Pak Ria said. I'm the Asia Pacific Education and Research Development Manager. My role is I visit universities in the whole Asia Pacific countries, from Japan, Korea, Southeast Asia, all the way to Australia and New Zealand. So typically, I look into customers or university education teaching needs, what they need to help the students to be enabled to be industry ready, how to equip with the latest modern teaching tools, especially for engineers, so that they really learn not only just theory, but they have a full, complete hands-on learning experience. The other part also is I work closely with researchers. If you go to university, just like most of us in the campus, there are so many faculties. So we have lots of research engagements with different professors or research scientists. It goes from maybe like quantum computing, which is a very hot topic. Next are the like 6G or terahertz or millimeter wave. So we try to understand what are the key challenges of these researchers from their work. So at the end of the day, it's all about producing a high impact research paper. That's what really measures their effort. So that's basically what I do actually. So till today, on this role, I have visited maybe at least 100 universities and research institutes in this region. So if you have any questions regarding to today's topic on RF microwave skills courseware for the student, please feel free to drop in the chat box, or you can ask me later on. So let me start by the video, the first video that I want to show you on the new solutions that we are developing. So that is a short video about how we actually help universities or education today. The challenges in global pandemic right now causes a lot of students not able to return to the class, to the universities, or even to the lab to do work. So with these solutions, you can imagine that the students, is as long as they have internet connections, they have a laptop, they can access lab works from anywhere at any time. So it is a very robust solution, and we already have early adopters around the world. So if your universities or maybe your lab are interested in this, how to get students back to learning, feel free to contact Patria on this. And Patria, maybe I'll catch up with you on another session to explain more on the details. Okay. Now, again, good morning. So this is the agenda for this morning webinar session. I thank you for all you attending. So first of all, the topics is about preparing students to be a future RF engineer. We will go through the different types of emerging technology overview, how RF fits in and help to serve everyone, humankind better. Next, we'll discuss about what are the skill sets that future engineers need to equip to accelerate on the onboarding process to be a professional RF engineer. And then also how to deal with instrument interconnects and device under test or DAT to ensure that they do a proper measurement. And of course, we also look into how does software help in the product development. So software is also very crucial in RF learning. It's not just like, you just take parts and build, but you need to do simulation and all. So at the end of this webinar session, we will look into how Keysight can help you bringing more industry-ready RF engineers to the community. So RF is really important and so on. So emerging technology overview. These are I'll say the top key emerging technologies right now happening around the world. First of all, of course, automotive. You know that in the automotive area, there's like autonomous vehicle, or what we heard is about DSRC, dedicated short-range communication, or another standard we call it as a V2X, vehicle to everything kind of communication. Both technology are similar, but they are not compatible because they are developed by different countries. Like DSRC from America, V2X is from European region. So this is one way. The other one will be about 5G and 6G. Same, it also requires knowledge and skill set to develop the RF or the RF components or microwave components part. Of course, in quantum, you may think that yes, quantum is a background that typically lays in the school of physics. That's where a lot of physicians, but why would RF plays a role? So I will talk about this briefly as well. And the other one will be Industry 4.0, which allows all the industries, all the equipment in the manufacturing line to work. So maybe like, example, like machine collecting the data for doing analytics to improve the efficiency. And of course, the IoT. So 5G is a big topic in recent years. It is the fastest ramping mobile communication technology. 5G offers dramatic improvement over 4G's capability, and we all know this. Whether how soon we adopt, I know Indonesians are not adopting it very soon, but it's a matter of time, because if for those early adopters, like maybe in Korea or even in China, once they adopt it, things are moving even faster. That is, they will show a lot of improvement or advantage. Of course, we don't expect a lot of 5G deployment at the rural area. 5G mostly is happening in the urban. So the physical layer of specification began with 5G NR, initial release 15. So the release 15 specification focuses on enhanced mobile broadband and ultra reliable, low latency communication. The result are high-speed data rates and very low latency wireless communication. So NR, or maybe new radio release 15, specifies a new interface, air interface, to enable high data throughput and low latency use case. For example, let's say that the addition of millimeter wave spectrum up to 52.6 GHz is a key to enable higher data throughput. At this high frequency, there is more contiguous spectrum available to send more data through the channel. So we are talking about higher data rate, more bandwidth, fast, and so on. So as the prediction forecast saying that by year 2025, we are expecting about 2.6 billion, 2.6 billion subscription, 5G subscription. 45% of mobile data traffic is carried by 5G network, and 65% of the people in the world will be using 5G wireless communication. So this is one area. The other part is 6G. As you know that once the 5G development is over, of course, the next generation will be 6G. So today, we start to see, maybe I would say since last year, we already been seeing researchers from various leading universities around the world. They are talking about, they are moving to 6G deployment. They want to look into like how to do the specs and what is the data rate should be. Like some early thinking says that 6G should have at least like 100 gigabits per second kind of data rate, or maybe 1 terabits. So it is said that it is 100 times faster than 5G. So you think that 4G is fast, where you can do a lot of streaming today, HD. With 5G is so much faster. And 6G, it is saying that it's 100 times faster than 5G with very low, ultra low latency. So the spectrum that we are looking at for this level 6G is from 300 gigahertz to 3 terahertz. So it's very, very high towards the end. And Keysight, we have this kind of tools to help researchers to develop to do, not only to develop, but to analyze, to do measurements, to test the specs. Okay. Of course, the other one, like what I mentioned on automotive, the next emerging technology is automotive. If you look back in the last 20 years, cars, vehicles has been tremendously improved. You can see that there's so many electronic components in a vehicle today. Even for sensors, I'm told that at least like maybe for example, a car, the most safest car has at least 700 sensors built in just to collect data, collect signals, and reading the data and making the next decision. So all this actually being carried out, controlled by the ECU, electronic control units. In turn, less and less automobile value position and differentiation in the mechanics. So it's not about how good is your mechanics, but using electronics to decide your car performance and maybe even efficiency. So one of the area that everyone is looking is how to use technology to reduce accident. So one of the things that we are saying that we call it the ADAS, Advanced Driver System, Driver Assistance System, is to lead in the autonomous driving. Okay. So what I mentioned, like the V2X is one example. So there's also research going on. I just want to share that how would vehicle talk to vehicle, like to create to identify blind spot on the other road, the other side of the road. So if you look into it at a higher side, RF or microwave plays a very significant role in this function for road safety. Okay, so this is the ADAS that I mentioned, Advanced Driver Assistance System. You have if you look at the graph here, level 0, no automation. That is maybe cars like 30 years ago. And then you have level 1, automation or assist function. There are level 2, partial automation. Level 3, conditional automation. Level 4, automated but constrained. Level 5 is fully automation. So of course, the end goal is going to level 5. So what is needed to achieve this? example, 360-degree sensing, powerful signal processing with artificial intelligence or AI, what I mentioned is very important because the cars will collect data from the sensors, go through the ECU, process, and decide what is the next action to be done. So, and then of course, a V2X communication system. Internet of Things. Okay, this is also a very big thing in the emerging technology. Now, another, let's say 5 years from now, it's predicted that there will be 64 billion IoT devices. So many of these IoT devices and on earlier days are meant for like home use, maybe hobbies. But as technology improves, more and more industries are adopting this for critical usage. When we say critical usage, are like what? It's just like electrical power, industry, medical or healthcare, medical industries, or even for defense as well. So with so many IoT devices being developed, there is a need actually the individual or specific IoT application has a dedicated type of wireless protocol. Why this is important? You could not say that, oh, I just want to depend on one type of wireless protocol, like let's say using Wi-Fi. Not every devices can use Wi-Fi because if you use a Wi-Fi, what do you need? You need to have a dedicated power source. Of course, Wi-Fi, you cannot bring the battery or you don't need to have so much power in it because certain devices you need to transmit data maybe 1 or 2 times in a day, and you don't need so much bandwidth. Of course, Wi-Fi brings a lot of bandwidth, and then you have Zigbee or NFC, Bluetooth, and so on. So all these are actually different type of wireless protocol, and again, like what I said, these are some of the elements that requires engineers to have a solid RF or microwave knowledge in designing. Okay. Next, Industry 4.0, or one example here, we are saying a smart factory. So it's a fourth industrial revolution initiated by the German government. The introduction of like intelligent sensors, mission critical communication, and automation into the manufacturing environment pushes or bring in the fourth industrial revolution. So what is the ultimate goal? The ultimate goal is to increase the value in manufacturing and the reduce of waste through the use of new technologies. I think more and more, maybe one good example of you can imagine how does Industry 4.0 works is a car manufacturing plant where the usage of robotics are even more. I mean, like soldering, like mounting, all these are using robots. It also brings a lot of consistency in the car manufacturing quality. So by leveraging the IoT ecosystem, the data collected from production, machines, storage, or other management systems, it will bring further to analyze how to maximize the throughput, minimize downtime, and of course, decrease wastage or expense reduction. So I believe this is something that are very related to Indonesia on the national economic development. And probably these are the final emerging technologies, that is quantum technology. So I just want to tell that quantum is actually a key focus for Keysight today. We have dedicated R&D team and lab to focus on this area. Why quantum? So it is said because quantum, the fastest computer right now in the world is in US. I think it's about 100 and maybe 50 pentaflops. So how fast is quantum computer? Quantum computer is said to be at least 3,000 faster than the fastest computer in the world. So there's a lot of thoughts how this quantum computer being used. One thing is like financial prediction, weather prediction, emergency route, escape route, how to make decision very, very fast. Or even like, I think it was very interesting to see that I read an article about, this COVID-19 virus. These scientists are using the supercomputer in US, how to decode the DNA and then coming up with all the possible vaccine to treat this virus. So it was interesting. They found about maybe 16 ways. You can Google up and find out this more in the internet later. So these are some of the quantum application. Now, when we look into quantum,
Sorry, Daniel.
yes.
Can you slow down a little bit?
Oh, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm talking too fast. Yeah. So these are the very interesting application in quantum. Now, in quantum technology, there are many components. Each component also has a dedicated function. Now, the fundamental, of course, other than physics, you need to have RF microwave area to control the system. This is actually, if you are interested, you can talk to Paria for another day because it's another deep topic where we are using RF or microwave to control the qubit. You know, a qubit is the state of the computer. In a traditional classical computer that we have today, we are using, the data are in binary, that is 1 and 0. But in quantum technology, in quantum qubit, what we call it, the state of the data can be 1, 0, or can be in a state of superposition, means it can be 1 or 0, so 3 state. So you can imagine 2 the power of 3 is at state. So when you do the calculation, it is much, much faster. So all this requires microwave or RF to control for precision. One more thing that I need to say that because quantum operates at depends on which quantum computer system, but typically they operate at cold temperature, like the one that very really like requires a very cold stage is the superconducting qubit, which require the system to operate at 10 millikelvin. That is almost like 0. It's colder than the outer space. So all in all this requires RF engineer because the qubit is controlled through microwave pulses. It is a very interesting topic. Okay. So RF microwave is the backbone for all emerging technologies that I just mentioned. If today the school, the universities are not producing enough RF engineer, there is a lot of challenges in supporting the economy or even the country development because everywhere you go, can you live without? I mean, simple question today for most of us: can we live without internet? Maria, can you live without internet, for example? It's always
In cave, like in
yeah, yeah, correct. Like macam handicap kan?
cave.
Macam orang cacat, like handicap. I mean, without internet, it's so difficult to do almost everything. So we know that internet are possible because of the RF technology, right? So maybe in the office here right now, I'm using a Wi-Fi signal. Maybe for some of you are not in the office. What you are using? You might be using 4G, correct? So all these are different wireless technology or RF requires different sets of skill. So technical skill sets for future RF engineers are very crucial. Why? Because these skills we can look into several areas. One of it is an RF engineer requires experience in hardware. So you need someone to manage the hardware, the RF components, which is maybe being very familiar, how you know how to use the instrument, how to do measurement like S parameters. For example, I want to say maybe let's say antenna design. Of course, it's easy to design a AM antenna or FM antenna, and then we move into like maybe 3G or 4G antenna. There are so many types of antenna. There are some like MIMO antenna or single dedicated antenna. So it's not like simply taking wires or metal parts to build component. You need to have the right tools. You need to know what you are doing. So this knowledge are so important. And then the third one is, I think, many people didn't think about this, but that sense DUT stands for device understanding, how to hold, how to handle is that because when we hold these components, they are very sensitive to ESD, electrostatic discharge, which you may not feel it, but it may destroy the component. The other part is students today, it is so important for them to pick up these software design tools. Keysight has a very famous software tool. We call it the ADS software, which is the industry standard for all RF design components. So these are the two skill sets. You need to have a hardware learning. You need to have the software. So software, you do the simulations, everything. Then you do your measurement prototyping on the hardware design. After you finish your prototyping, then you come to the verification. Okay. So as an engineer, just imagine if you are going to train your students to be a future engineer. So he is an engineer right now, RF engineer. So it is important to know how to operate the instrument to carry out the necessary tests. So many types of tests, right? Knowing the instrument limit and prevent overpowering the instrument. So if you know the instrument well, then you will know how to operate, how to measure the component, the dart safely. You do not want to pump in too much RF power, which you might burn the component. So being an RF engineer, it is important to make measurement in the frequency domain. How to make the right measurement with the network analyzer and signal analyzer. So I would say these are the key components, tools here, a VNA, and then a signal analyzer, and then the scope, signal generator, DMM waveform generator. So probably the most important tools that you need here is a network analyzer. So a lot of components that we have today, that we can hear a good signal quality because RF engineer design a very good filter, like filtering, how to filter out noise. Then the RF engineer also need to know one thing. Before any measurement being started, what do you need to do? Of course, you need to do calibration. And calibration is also a skill that you want to make sure that every time your results that you're taking is consistent, you always have a reference point. So it's so important to have your network analyzer calibrated before you do any measurement. So these are some of the measurements like S parameter and how to do intermodulation distortion. Third is harmonics, and the fourth one is for phase noise measurement. Okay, so dart handling, these are typical connector. I'll say if you look here, it seems like this is a true connector. So if okay, let's say a connector is also a dart. Okay? It can be like true, just a piece of passive devices. So if we do not know how to take care of the connector, or we over torque it or overturn it, we will damage the connector. You can see that. You may say that, oh, Daniel, this is okay because it's outer side. It will not give any problem. No, actually, that's not true. Even a slight dent, it will give different reading, especially when you go to the microwave or millimeter wave frequency. Such tiny dent gives a lot of errors or inaccuracy. So as an RF engineer, again, you need to know that how to take care of the connectors, how to do proper mating. Can a type N mate into a 3.5 mm? Of course, cannot. But can a 3.5 mm, or another name we call it the SMA, connected to a 2.4 or even 1 mm connector? So these are the information, knowledge that students need to know before they can be a qualified RF engineer. See? Here's an example. When you do a talking, you can reduce lift on correction. So when you do the talking, like this is a wrench, right? Or we call it another name, spanner. Do you hold the whole handle, or where do you hold? So the correct method is to hold at the end of the wrench and torque it. Okay. So you must have a torque wrench, not just a wrench, a torque wrench, and to know that the exact strength to tighten the connector. Next, software design tools or electronic design automation EDA. So when this is needed, so typically the student, we see students learn this in the early of their university days, undergraduate, maybe second year. So this actually is important to do like simulation. They need to understand, oh, what does it need to, what kind of components, RF component or passive component needed to design a simple filter or a mixer. So this software simulation helps them to understand things to do during before the prototyping stage. Once they get the measurement, then that's that's needed based on spec, they can move to the prototyping. So this will help them to reduce the design error. You don't want to keep on redesigning, and also improve the component quality. Right. Now, I want to make an example like if you are going to design and building an RF system that operates, let's say, at 20 gigahertz or above, it's very challenging because traditionally there are a lot of parasitic value in the interconnect. So if you do not take count of this kind of parasitic what they call it errors, it will create a lot of unnecessary maybe you may amplify, may distort your signal quality. Okay, so this is EDA. The famous tools that we have are known as EDA. Okay, so in simple, key takeaways for you, for all of us here is strong RF demand from growing emerging technologies. It's not to say that RF will just die off. It's not important in the next few years. It's going to be very, very important. And the second thing that we also want to acknowledge, I mean, we have to be true and real. This is what Keysight are observing in the whole world right now. Skill set gap in engineering school. I would not say that every school got the money to buy a complete set of hardware or software, but there are certain things that minimally has to be invested to build industry-ready student. Okay, there are some also enrollment because if that university doesn't have the correct instrument, how are you going to train students with the correct knowledge? So there's a gap in this area that we are observing. It's you may say that okay, Daniel, I can just teach in theory. Yes, theory-wise is one way to learn, but it is through the hands-on measurement that where the students really understand, because that will actually help them to visualize, to see things in physical form. When we try to imagine, it can be imagine 1,001 thing, which are not correct, maybe correct, but most of the time it's not correct. So if we provide them the tools to the student, oh, this is software, this is how you do your simulation, to do a filter, to do a antenna, to design something, that will help you to get there. Once you get there, you can start to do prototyping. From the prototyping, then you can do verification. Oh, my antenna that I designed from here is very close to my simulation result. What does it say? It says that, oh, your design is good. Okay, so Keysight can help you to equip future RF engineer to be industry ready. So what happened is the courseware that we are developing helping the industry to understand the whole flow. Like it's not to say that you just learn from here to here, but we are helping the students to understand from end to end, from the beginning. Like what I say, design, synthesize, simulate, and then you validate, and then you do prototyping, and then you start to do the measurement. So if you're interested to learn more, these are the brochures or resource material that we have available on the website. On Keysight, we have the data sheet, fact sheet, app notes. This one is a very good app note. You can take it as an example. How RF being used for automotive radar FMCW analysis. There we also have sample lab and also YouTube videos. Okay. That's the whole thing that I just shared. Actually, now before that, I also want to show a video on the certification side. Let me share my. Give me a second, yeah. Mm, Okay. Do you have any questions from the team members?
I think there is no good question from the attendee. Maybe if there is any question, Daniel,
Mm-hmm.
I have question that
Yeah.
let's say from one of the university.
Sorry, I can't hear you, Faria.
Check. Can you hear me clear?
Yes, better now. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Regarding the IoT device that you share in the opening, yeah. In the opening, you said regarding the IoT. If from the university in Indonesia they want to try it trial, is it possible that you send the demo unit or something?
Yes, it's possible. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a demo unit. You can actually get it from us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So let me know when you need it, and the university can take it and evaluate. I, yeah. So I just want to, Faria, and also to everyone from Indonesia, I just want to show you that we have a dedicated university student certification program that's published on the website. So, like the video that mentioned, there's IoT, of course, we also the RF microwave student certification. Now, I just want to show you the participating universities around the world. So far, there's none from Indonesia yet. We hope one day there's one from Indonesia, may be listed here. So you can see that there's a lot from US, and they really see that the true value, how this is how this actually gives them to train or to develop a competent engineer, an industry-ready engineer in RF. So we got US, there's also from Canada. I think British Computer Honda is also a very famous university that you all know. from UK, Cardiff, Leeds, Manchester, Surrey, Germany, Stuttgart, even Russia, Malaysia. There are two. One in there's two, and also in Korea as well. So at the end of the day, we actually want to recognize students in this area of knowledge. So let me see if I can pull up the example of the certificate. Can you see my slide? Is there anything?
No.
No, not yet. Okay. Sharing my slide, application. Okay. Not bad. Okay, today I think the yeah. So again, what is the RF or microwave lab courseware that Keysight is offering that actually we mentioned end to end that includes both the software and hardware is there's a lab sheet that allows the student to learn through step by step in different types in measuring different type of components. So example in our lab 1 there's a transmission line followed by lab 2 filter, lab 3 is a low noise amplifier, lab 4 is driver and power amplifier, and then lab 5 is oscillator and synthesizer, lab 6 is a mixer. And at the end of the lab 7, if you look here closely, you see this lab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. At the end of this all components the student will learn what is actually a 5G new radio receiver. It's a sub-gigahertz learning, and the whole student understand. Oh, by combining all these components, they actually build up. They measure a receiver for 5G and now sub 6 gigahertz. Of course, you need to use the software and everything. Okay. So it's a very interesting thing. Show you again one more time here. These are the name of the university. So from Indonesia, we hope to see your university name here, joining the others. Okay, this is not 700, it's more than 800 right now. More than 800 students have been awarded with this certificate. So let me show you, I have an example certificate. This is an example certificate. So we have level 1 and level 2. Most of them are in level 1. As long as the university able to demonstrate the student has learned software, how to do simulation activity, and then the hardware also, how to do measurement for passive devices. I think that's good enough. The level 2 is a bit more advanced. It's more into moving into active devices measurement, and then looking into the spectrum analysis. Level 1 is purely just on network analysis. All right. Yeah. But this is something very interesting. Okay. Any questions from the team members from the floor?
Yeah, there is a question in the chat box.
Mm-hmm.
Can you open the chat?
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat box right now. Question. Okay. Okay, question from Mikhail Kevin. What are the obstacles that occur when installing 5G in a country? For example, in Indonesia, there are still a large part of which has not been covered by 5G. Okay, Mikhail, I think not only one, there are several factors, but 5G is the cost of investment in the infrastructure for 5G is expensive. Okay, the cost of investment in the setting up the installation, because with 5G you need to have more antennas, more repeater. The signal doesn't travel far, so you use let's say in a radius maybe let's say 10 kilometer. You probably need about maybe 3 to 4 sets of 4G transmission tower. But in a 5G case, you need more than that. So if you are a telecom operator, you need to invest more tower, more antenna, more infrastructure, and so on. So that is one. And then if you set up, if you have provided, okay, maybe the city in a big mega city, city area, urban area, there are more people who use 5G. They can afford to subscribe and pay. But once you move out to the city area, maybe like even like not many people will actually will use the 5G kind of they need such a demanding high speed technology. So it's the readiness or the adoption. But I would say maybe if you look into critical mission area like medical side or healthcare, all this information are so important to be transferred. Yeah, there's no slide. I'm talking purely from words right now. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to explain. It depends on the adoption. How ready is the adoption of the 5G? The biggest obstacle is still the cost of the infrastructure is not cheap. Yeah. So I would say maybe Indonesia, you might want to think that maybe a lot targeted area cities from the city would be good, big city, and then moving into like autonomous vehicle. So if you have a city that, let's say your public transportation, your buses, there's no driver, and then you travel a dedicated route. So all these signal like your bus, let's say is autonomous, it must be able to detect human crossing, bicycle crossing, animal crossing, able to stop, able to send signal very fast. You know that 1 second, or maybe not even 1 second, half a second delay in the signal transmission, accident can happen, right? So I would say application, and also, of course, we can view content from YouTube, mobile phone, even a 4G. Maybe 5G is a wonderful experience. Okay. I hope I answered this question.
Yeah, maybe the one that you need to understand is the ecosystem. The
Yes.
ecosystem is very different with the 3G or 4G technology, because we need the new infrastructure, and then
Faria, you have to speak louder, Faria.
because for the 5G we need the new infrastructure, because when, let's say, when you choose the low frequency or middle frequency or high frequency, it will be the different infrastructure and cost that will implement, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I just read an article also. Indonesia, I think this is my personal opinion. Okay, I'll say is 5G is everybody sooner or later you have every country had to adopt it. Even Malaysia itself, the government decided to start to implement this next year. They already did a case study analysis testing, so it will start next year as well. So I think one of the areas that we are looking into is urban utilization for mission critical area, and maybe also for NB-IoT for agriculture as well. And it can be maybe like encourage, the government also has to encourage the adoption for 5G. So I'll say government side plays a big role in this area.
Yes, yes. That is why you said before, maybe from the healthcare or maybe public
Transportation.
transportation. Yeah,
Yes.
it would be start from that need, and
Yes.
then maybe we'll develop in another
Yeah.
side lah.
Yeah, correct. Just like what we say, maybe 10 years ago, I don't need internet, I still can survive. But as more and more people adopt internet, e-commerce, and then if today you ask, can I live without internet? I will say, oh, it's very difficult, because I will say, but Ria, I cannot do my study, I cannot research this. I want to buy, let's say I'm interested to buy a new mobile phone. Then where do I go? I will go to the internet and look for for material to read and do comparison, this and that. Just like 5G today is, if you ask, I cannot see the immediate value, but I think it's a matter of time. Once there's more adoption, people start to use the function, the feature, then it will become a major need. So the key point here is today is we do not want to wait till the time to come, but as if you are educators, do you want to start to build the talent today for future? Students learn the skill set for RF microwave. Get them ready now. Nobody can tell what will happen in the next 3 years, but upon graduation, I would say what they learn will be very helpful. Same as the IoT as well.
Okay, Michael, Kevin, is there any follow-up question regarding the answer? Daniel, I want to another question, Daniel.
Yes.
Which country in Southeast Asia that already use the RF microwave qualified from Keysight? Is there any?
We have mostly in Southeast Asia, haven't, but we have in Australia, in Europe, and also in US.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
So in some university at US or Australia and Europe, they already use the IoT or 5G module from Keysight.
Oh, if you say the IoT module, a lot.
Oh, sorry.
A lot.
Oh, for the IoT module is a lot, but for
Yes.
the microwave
RF.
and RF, that's for okay.
That one not many. I think one reason is this. I think it's also a challenge. It's not easy to get engineering students to take up RF or microwave courses program. They can be major in this area. So I always encourage educators in this region to, let's say, invite maybe speakers from local company or even like Keysight or even like PT Berka to talk about why RF is so important. Get the student inspired and understand, oh, this technology is, maybe for some people it's difficult, but actually it's very important to train the students to be specialized in this area. Yeah, there's also like program like I think 2 days ago we hear like Sai, our colleague, he talks about material measurement. Why material measurement is also using RF because you want to detect like tumor or cancer in the cell, you need to be fast. You're also using a RF.
Yeah.
Right. Or even like like a car radar. You have a radar inside a cover, right? So that cover maybe can be made of plastic, but is it plastic is the best choice to cover the radar? Because sometimes certain material may affect the signal transmission to go through. So RF, I'll say, is so important that I think whether we like it or not, we have to consider it is a key area of learning in the university. So educators out there, if you are, I mean, if you want to learn more or know more about this area, please contact Patria. I mean, Keysight from my side here, we are more than happy to work together as a partner. My role here is really to understand what are your challenges and how Keysight can help to enable your students, your curriculum to be, to train students to be industry ready.
Okay, is there any other question from the attendee? So this is a great. If you have maybe any challenge in your study, in your research, or maybe in your curriculum, this is the correct time that you can ask Daniel regarding what we can do, what we can help to enable your research, to enable your study, and also to enable your curriculum.
Yeah. So let me show you one thing from the website as well. So what happened is when the university are interested, by the way, this certification program is free. There's no cost, the certificate is not. Of course, there is a standard requirement that it has to fulfill. So what happened is once everything fulfilled, we publish your university name in the website. Your product will request you to use your school university logo. For example, maybe I'll just take nearby in Malaysia. One good case is like maybe from UTM, University Technical Malaysia Malacca. So once we have that, we will publish the student's name, what kind of level they get, and what year they get it. So you can see that UTM has more than 10 students being recognized for their competency in RF. So we also saying that there's no way to cheat because this certificate, they will say, oh, they can certificate everybody can print and did so on. But we actually publish the student name in the website, so there's no way to cheat in what year. So with this certificate, is the student can promote themselves, maybe saying that I really know about RF. I've been certified by Keysight. Then also will help the student to separate him or herself from other group of candidates during the interview to be hired. So that it will increase the students, what's that? Increase the students' opportunity to be hired as a competent engineer. I guess maybe in the if you have in Indonesia, there's a lot of new startup company in IoT or device. I think even like MNC, they are looking for such talent. So this, I would say, RF engineers students with a good RF knowledge are not easy to hire. It's very difficult. So we hope that Keysight, we can work together with you in this area. So other names that we might be interested, let's say South Florida. This is a very famous one. Their students are all being hired by defense company, right? Since 2013. Any earlier than that? Yeah, 2013. 7 years already. I think there's even longer than that. Yeah. So this is not the day one. It's not last year thing. It was like 7 years ago, and we keep on like helping certify this student. The same goes with IoT. IoT, of course, is a very new topic. It's an emerging program. Just this year, I think last year, we actually certified two universities as well in this area. So because it's a new emerging technology, we also want to promote students' competency in this area. So, Patria, just now you did ask about IoT. Yeah, there are a few universities. These are the two earliest one in that already been certified. So, again, I really encourage universities from Indonesia, look into this, see what is it about. Because Keysight, we really want to help to address these challenges in the market where industries are having challenges to hire good, competent students as RF engineer. The other good thing is about once they got hired, they are ready to work. It's not about coming to a company and then 3-6 months for on-job training, this and that. They are ready to work, and you can give them any task. So we, of course, again, I say we have certain requirements to be fulfilled by universities to ensure that these students are really good.
There is another question in chat box.
Okay. Okay. Mana dia? Question. Okay. What are the competencies of each level certification? Okay. Since we are talking about RF today, they are. Let me take out. Let me use my slide. Okay, there are two types of competency level. Give me a second. I'll pull out my slide so all of you can have a look together. Okay, sharing my PowerPoint. Okay. Bisa nampak?
Yeah.
Okay. Tapi kecil ya. Can see ya?
Can.
Okay. Let me see which one. Okay, this one better to see. Okay, let's talk about RF part first. For RF, there are two. I draw a line here, separate one RF, one IoT. So there are two levels. One is level 1 proficiency and level 2. So if you look into level 1, students typically is, okay, they know how to use ADS, do the simulation. They understand all the simulation tools, how to do basically it's all simulation activities. And then finally, they need to show fundamental knowledge how to measure a dart using a network analyzer. Okay, so these are really fundamental. So it's very easy. Of course, the funny thing is, I would say some university they teach theory, and then they don't have the software and the hardware. Some university they have the theory, and then they have the theory and the software, but they don't have the hardware. So it must have all these three components, yeah. Theory, software, and hardware measurement. Then you say, oh, this student is competent. Then level 2, if you look here, it is more advanced, like what I mentioned earlier on. It requires like how to do measurement on the mixer, to do harmonic balance technique using log pool analysis. There's also like using more advanced software tool, EM Pro, System View, signal analysis, how to use a more advanced instrument. So this one, I would say mostly students from postgraduate, master student, then they have the opportunity to do this because postgraduate students, either they do research activity or by course, then they will have access to the instrument. I think one thing or the reason also is software is I can understand it's free. They got time, but I mean students are so busy. Undergraduate students are so busy with so many things already. To learn new tools, it'll be very challenging. So one is time. The second thing is these additional two instruments are not cheap. So if the students are not familiar, if they don't have the level 1, and then they go and play around with your other instruments, they might damage the connector and so on. So we want to make sure that the students really understand the fundamental before they go to the more advanced. Okay, and in IoT, Patria, this is related to IoT. I think last week I didn't talk about the types of certification. So the IoT certification program are independent. Okay, you means that you can have this, without this, of course, you can come here, or without this, also you can come. They are independent. The program is to develop competency based on which area. Some, I think, maybe 60% will come here because these are fundamental. Once you know this fundamental validation, you can jump to any of these area. I mean, there are another 20% here. Why I said so is possible because even this module here, the student we actually add in about 20% to 30% of knowledge from the design and fundamental into each topic here. So they are good to go. So most students will fall in here. They are maybe specialized in wireless connectivity, and then 20% specialized in power measurement for the MEMS sensor. So these are the different types of proficiency. If you ask me my opinion, Daniel, what would my recommendation? Which certification program? I definitely say both are very important. For RF, for undergraduate, go for level 1. If you are if you have a postgraduate student or maybe master student, this is level 2 they can consider. For IoT, I would say any of these, but most of the university are adopting this one first. Okay. Okay, let me see. I think I see some other questions coming in. Level 1 on RF certification, mostly simulation. Yes, mostly simulation, and it has also the hands-on measurement. So, Alvin, yeah, because just like if you can imagine, the student has done the simulation activity, and then the next thing is we want to say that this student is competent in RF, right? So they must know how to do calibration, do a simple S parameter measurement, like on a RF cable, on a dart, on the antenna, on a filter. So it's not simulation, but also hardware using a network analyzer. So that's level 1. Do you have 5G RF planning material in Keysight certification? No, we don't have that. I'm not really sure is what you mean by for education, for teaching. No, we do not have. But if you're saying that 5G RF planning for setting up infrastructure or what are needed to for testing, then we may have the content that you need because Keysight is a leader in 5G. We are the one to help a lot of consortiums to. I mean, we are the key player in the consortium, and we have a lot of manufacturer in this area. We definitely have this kind of dedicated material for 5G related, like what you need to set up 5G infrastructure, and what are the areas. So, Pari, I think, are you aware about this 5G collaterals material that we have? Okay. I can go to my website here. Okay, and then I just type 5G library. I just type. There's so many information here. So we knowledge base. If I go to application or manuals, oh, there's a lot. Let's say just application. Can you see my screen? Yeah. Are you?
Yeah.
Is it my browser? My browser, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have like if you want to do planning, these are so many materials you can read, like exploring 5G coexistence scenario using a flexible hardware software test bed. We have a white paper. So this could be part of the learning stuff if that's what you're looking at. Really a lot of things to read. If you need help, if you're setting up or test bed everything, we are more than happy to help. Just engage with PT Burka. They have our access to our application. They also have application engineer who are trained in this area. Otherwise, Keysight also will support directly with PT Burka. Okay. Did I manage to answer that question? I hope. Okay. Okay. Another question from use Natalie. Level 2 or RS certification uses VNA not only? It depends. Okay. Well, that's why in Keysight we always look into depends. Now, I come back here, it's not only VNA because I think the other additional tool that you need is a signal analyzer because we want, let's say, because it's a more advanced program. If you are designing a system, then you are looking into a certain kind of okay, let me rephrase it. If you are designing example like a mixer or antenna, VNA will just give you so much on the network analysis, but on the level 2, we want to look into the performance of your antenna transmission. So that's why you need a signal analyzer or spectrum analyzer, we call that. Signal sources probably you don't need it because certain VNA they already has a function to do that. Signal analyzer is just and we have a very famous tool like FieldFox, which actually FieldFox can do this. Have you heard of what is a FieldFox? I think Faria, you all sell a lot of this thing. Let me show you what does a FieldFox look like. I'm sharing my screen. Okay. So a FieldFox is probably like 12 or 15 instruments in one. They are. Can see my slide, my browser.
Yes.
Oh, can oh, amazing! I didn't know that I can do so many things together. So this is FieldFox. It is because it has so many tools, just like the Swiss Army knife, right? So you can see it has a USB power measurement, a BOE power meter, a vector wattmeter. It does so many things. It also has a spectrum analyzer, a VNA. So maybe if you have this, I mean you can do your level 2 measurement activities. It also does real-time spectrum analysis. So coming back to here, if you look here again, VNA is not only one because there's more requirement on the level 2. At the end of the day, it's about you want to tell the industry, the potential hiring manager that hey, Mr. Hiring Manager, I also know how to measure the antenna signal strength, transmission. I know how to look into interference. I know how to carry out interference analysis. That you have so many antenna transmitting, so you can able to understand so many concepts, not just the basic fundamental on RF. That's my answer for Natalie. So if you are interested in level 2, yeah, please let us know. Because typically, if you are going for level 2, you get a level 1 certificate at the same time. Questions? Some more questions?
Okay. Is there any other question?
We have 18 attendees, so quite a big crowd today.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Mikhail Kevin, you're from Academy Telkom Jakarta. Makes sense. For your questions on the 5G. We also have Unity or Krishna Vipayana. Tatena. Okay.
Okay. Is there any other question?
If you are, since we are talking a bit, maybe just flash sharing, yeah. Since we're talking about this certification thing, I just want to pull out these are some of the benefits. So you can see here, these are the benefits why it's so important. It's so good to partnership with Keysight in this area. The certification is free, of course. In order before getting there, you have to do some investment on the tools to enable a student. So if you are coming from the university, I think the biggest benefit is you align with the industry. You know what the industry are looking at. There'll be opportunity for open dialogue with industry partners, just like Keysight customers as well. Student aspiration, we also can help you to promote that, hey, my university program is aligned with, having Keysight supported look into it. Students say, oh, this is, because Keysight is a well renowned RF company in the world. So it helps them to boost their confidence. Program recognition, so we also recognize your program, saying, oh, your program that you are teaching in the universities really fulfills the requirement in RF area, because partnership with Keysight. As a student, your student is, we recognize your student identification among the best, confirmation on technical expertise, credential identified through Keysight webpage on LinkedIn. It's a value added. It's very good for their resume, employment opportunities, and industry access. Now, if you are coming from the industry, just like Mikhail just now, he will say, oh, I'm looking for expansion. I need to hire a group of competent RF engineers. So he will know he will know to go to which universities that produce good candidate, good engineers. So in a way, we are actually trying to create an ecosystem that telling the industry, telling our customers, our users, oh, if you want to hire good RF engineer, go to this university. They are producing 10, 20 RF engineer next year, and these are the recognized by Keysight as being competent. So, and then indirectly also, for the university, instead, other than talking to Keysight or PT Berkah, you like PT Telkom Jakarta also, you are talking with the university, and then it creates more collaborative linkages. So we hope through this we can create a very beneficial, mutual beneficial, win-win kind of ecosystem. And then the student has they also know where to go for hiring. Because one of the, we honestly saying, like, we really want to help the students to competent in this area. I hope I answer, giving you the whole picture, how does this work. Okay. And I hope to see some names from Indonesia from here. Training. It's nice to see all this. Some of the comments, let's say, yeah, doctoral student at UC of Notre Dame. It says, receiving the Keysight RF and microwave industry-ready student certification is an added benefit to my time here in my university. A seal of approval that demonstrates my skill and specific hands-on experience with these technologies and cutting-edge equipment. It is a true mark of distinction that will help open doors of opportunity. That's not my word. That's actually a real testimonial from a doctoral PhD student. So everyone, I hope today's sharing really gives you some idea why RF is so important based on that's not what we say, these key emerging technologies that we talk about. Everywhere, whether we want it like or not, technology is coming. It requires talent and skill, and these skills are very limited. And if you have the skill, you might be hired with top dollar and leading a team. Okay, Pak Ria, itu sahaja dari saya.
There is a question from Pak Alvin. You already answered it?
Oh, Pak Alvin, okay. I am lecturer from Institute of Technology Telkom. Okay. I am very interested in this program. Okay. Bisa Pak, kita boleh bincang, Pak Ria, maybe you can get in touch with
Pak Alvin.
Alvin, and then how we can help your institute to get into this program. I think yeah. I mean, as a telecom institute, you definitely have. You already got. I'm sure you already got the tools, the instrument. Probably is just to understand. Maybe even you have already the software like ideas. It's just that how to get into your institute into this program. So yeah, we can start talking separately after this. Maybe Pak Ria can arrange a discussion too.
Okay. Maybe later I will contact Pak Alvin, and if there is any opportunity to have a deep discussion with Pak Alvin and team, I will contact you, Daniel.
Yeah. Let's have another discussion on WebEx discussion. Good. Okay, kalau tiada apa-apa, kita boleh finish kat sini. Okay. I want to thank you for everyone for your time to be here, the opportunity. Okay, back to you, Pak Ria.
Okay. Thank you very much for your participation for all the attendees in this webinar. Hope you all can bring something from the material that we have prepared and share for today, and hope to see you soon in our next business meeting. Okay, thank you, Pak Alvin. I will contact you. And then if you still have any question regarding the topic or the other topic about what Keysight can do, especially in education, you can always contact me at Romeo Echo Alpha .hermawan@berka.co.id, or you also can drop email in at marketing@berka.co.id. Okay. If there is another question, that's all from us. And then thank you very much for all the attendees. Thank you very much, Daniel. And then Siki also. Hope we'll see you soon. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.